Sultana's Dream, the first feminist science fiction written by Begum Rokeya, the feminist Renaissance pioneer in then Indian subcontinent at the time of the British rule in this continent. Let us read from a science fiction written by Begum Rokeya. Though she was a Bengali, but it was written in English. That it's important in various causes, like a English fiction written by a woman Bengali, and also it's a revolt against the anti-feminism, anti-feministic attitudes towards the female. So let us read from this fiction, Sultana's Dream. One evening, I was lounging in an easy chair in my bedroom and thinking lazily of the condition of Indian womanhood. I am not sure whether I dozed off or not, but as far as I remember, I was wide awake. I saw the moonlit sky sparkling with thousands of diamond-like stars very distinctly. All on a sudden, a lady stood before me. How she came in, I don't know. I took her for my friend, Sister Sara. "Good morning," said Sister Sara. I smiled inwardly as I knew it was not morning, but starry night. However, I replied to her saying, "How do you do?" "I'm all right, thank you. Will you please come out and have a look at our garden?" I looked again at the moon through the open window and thought there was no harm in going out at the time. The men servants outside were fast asleep just then, and I could have a pleasant walk with Sister Sara. I used to have my walks with Sister Sara when we were at Darjeeling. Many a time did we walk hand in hand and talk light-heartedly in the botanical gardens there. I fancied Sister Sara had probably come to take me to some such garden, and I readily accepted her offer and went out with her. When walking, I found to my surprise that it was a fine morning. The town was fully awake and the streets alive with bustling crowds. I was feeling very shy, thinking I was walking in the street in broad daylight, but there was not a single man visible. Some of the passers-by made jokes at me, though I couldn't understand their language. Yet I felt sure they were joking. I asked my friend, "What do they say?" "The women say that you look very mannish." "Mannish?" said I. "What do they mean by that?" "They mean that you are shy and timid like men." Shy and timid like men? It was really a joke. I became very nervous when I found that my companion was not Sister Sara, but a stranger. Oh, what a fool had I been to mistake this lady for my dear old friend Sister Sara. She felt my fingers tremble in her hand as we were walking hand in hand. "What is the matter, dear?" she said affectionately. "I feel somewhat awkward," said in a rather apologizing tone. "As being a Pardhanisian woman, I am not accustomed to walking about unveiled. You need not be afraid of coming across a man here. This is Ladyland, free from sin and harm. Virtue herself reigns here." By and by, I was enjoying the scenery. Really, it was very grand. I mistook a patch of green grass for a velvet cushion, feeling as if I were walking on a soft carpet. I looked down and found the path covered with moss and flowers. "How nice it is," said I. "Do you like it?" asked Sister Sara. I continued calling her Sister Sara, and she kept calling me by my name. Yes, very much, but I do not like to tread on the tender and sweet flowers. Never mind, dear Sultana, your treading will not harm them. They are street flowers. The whole place looks like a garden, said I admiringly. You have arranged every plant so skillfully. Your Calcutta could become a nicer garden than this, if only your countrymen wanted to make it so. They would think it useless to give so much attention to horticulture while they have so many other things to do. They couldn't find a better excuse, said she with a smile. I became very curious to know whether the men were. I met more than 100 women while walking there, but not a single man. Where are the men? I asked her. In their proper places where they ought to be. Pray, let me know what you mean by their proper places. Oh, I see my mistake. You cannot know our customs. As you were never here before, we shut our men indoors. Just as we are kept in the zenana? Exactly so. How funny. I burst into a laugh. Sister Sara laughed too. But dear Sultana, how unfair it is to shut in the harmless women and let loose the men. Why? It's not safe for us to come out of the zenana, as we are naturally weak. Yes, it's not safe so long as there are men about the streets, nor is it so when a wild animal enters a marketplace. Of course not. Suppose some lunatics escape from the asylum and begin to do all sorts of mischief to men, horses, and other creatures. In that case, what will your countrymen do? They will try to capture them and put them back into their asylum. Thank you. And you do not think it wise to keep sane people inside an asylum and let loose the insane? Of course not, said I laughingly. As a matter of fact, in your country, this very thing is done. Men who do, or at least are capable of doing, no end of mischief are let loose, and the innocent women shut up in the zenana. How can you trust those untrained men out of doors? We have no hand or voice in the management of our social affairs. In India, man is lord and master. He has taken to himself all powers and privileges and shut up the women in the zenana. Why do you allow yourselves to be shut up? Because it cannot be helped, as they are stronger than women. A lion is stronger than a man, but it doesn't enable him to dominate the human race. You have neglected the duty you owe to yourselves, and you have lost your natural rights by shutting your eyes to your own interests. But my dear Sister Sara, if you do everything by ourselves, what will the men do then? They shouldn't do anything. Excuse me. They are fit for nothing. Only catch them and put them into the zenana. But would it be easy to catch and put them inside the four walls? Said I. And even if this were done, would all their business, political and commercial, also go with them into the zenana? Sister Sara made no reply. She only smiled sweetly. Perhaps she thought it useless to argue with one who was no better than a frog in a well.